I'm super excited to be here with you. I got to talk about this slide on the screen. Now, I put these slides together pretty quickly this morning, and this image on the screen popped up. My first reaction is, I don't want to use that. That's so fake. But then I was like, no, we got to talk about the image on the screen because if you are a mom who wants to work from home, I got some warnings for you. And one involves never put a child near a cup of water or cup of coffee and a laptop. I can't tell you how many laptops we have gone through since the early days of working from home with babies and kids. I never, ever will do this. What's on the screen, never do it. You've been warned. That child will quickly knock that cup of coffee or cup of water straight onto your computer, and you will be at the store buying a new computer in a couple hours. Been there, done that. So that's my first tip for you on how to make money from home. Has anyone else been on the same situation? Yeah, our team says I'm going to say minimum 3 laptops fried. Yeah, at least 3. I think there could even be more. There's been some other challenges with cords and laptops falling off beds onto hard floors and all the things that have happened over the last 10 years of running a business with kids. So you guys have been warned. So let's get into the real stuff today, what we're going to be building together here. And I'm excited to talk to you about how you can create a realistic income path to start with when it comes to working from home. I know we have a lot of moms here. Let us know how old your kids are. That would be a fun thing to see in the chat. How old your kids are. Or maybe you're just thinking about having kids. I know that was me when I was thinking of starting my business on the side. And today we're going to figure out the one problem that you solve, and we're going to create a business idea around it. We're going to help you create your elevator pitch, or what I like to call your I help statement. And you're going to leave today knowing the next step for the next 24 hours, for the next week. Like, what are you going to do first? You're going to have an action plan. And then I'm also going to teach you what we're going to do together over the next 6 weeks. I'm hoping that I can support you and help you over the next 6 weeks. So I'm creating a 6-week sprint. It's called the Moms Making Money from Home 6-week sprint to get you started and moving forward to creating that life that you really want and the business that you want too. So Ashley's, I can't believe they're so old. Ashley, 12 and 7 already. Where does the time go? I can't believe it. And yeah, we have very similar ages. I'm 11, 7, and 4 now are my kiddos. And Helen is 7, 4, and 18 months. Oh, that's so fun. Yes, definitely watch the laptop around that 18-month-old. I will definitely give you a word of warning, Helen. But now they want to use my laptop. So we're in a, when they get to the 11, 12-year-old, you're in a kind of very different state as well. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I want to talk. I'm writing a book this year. This is my book writing year. I have an agent. I'm documenting the whole process over on Substack, which is really, really fun. And so this is also kind of a sneak peek of the book. This is new training. This is brand new. And a lot of the things that I have been working on as I'm writing chapter 1, I have a meeting with my agent even later today. We're going through the outline. And a lot of the things that we're talking about in that book have to do with this slide, which is I had 2 options when I was working my corporate job before I even started my business, before I even had kids. I thought I had 2 options. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. My 2 options were number 1, the corporate grind. That's where I was. I thought if I want to be a mom someday, and I was desperately trying to be a mom, we were struggling to become parents. It was not easy for us. But back in those days, I thought my option was stay in corporate, work hard, drop my kids off at daycare, go to work, and repeat the day the next day. And I thought there was going to be that guilt, the emotional toil of dropping your child off at daycare. My heart was going to be split in half. It was going to be really hard to have kids, but then also go to my day job. And I really dreaded what was going to happen after maternity leave. And I felt trapped in that job because I was working nights and weekends and I was traveling across the country. I would leave my job, or I would leave San Diego on Mondays and I would fly to Charleston or I would fly to DC and then I would fly back on Fridays. And so there was a lot of this, how can I do this with a child? I didn't know. And my other option that I thought was to be a stay-at-home mom. Now, I don't believe this anymore. I love all my stay-at-home mom friends. But at that time, I thought stay-at-home moms, we cook, you clean, drive kids around, you lose your income. And this was partly because there were a lot of people, a lot of moms like this I saw in my life who weren't, I could tell they weren't happy and they were resenting motherhood. They were resenting their children and it was draining their marriage. And so I thought that you would kind of like lose your purpose, lose your identity, lose the impact that you had at work. And so I felt trapped between these two lives. And the real problem wasn't daycare, it was that neither of these felt like the right option for me. And you guys are saying same. Okay, so feel free to chat back to me because this is also helping me write chapter one. So I had this false choice, these two choices, the corporate trap. I felt like I did everything right. And I was working so hard so that by the time I did take maternity leave, this company would take care of me. I purposely chose a company that was on the working mothers best list. And so they were one of the top companies for working mothers. And I worked there for 8 years and I worked hard, hoping that they would take care of me when I would eventually take maternity leave. And it really felt like that life didn't fit. And there was definitely some moments where I was like, I cannot keep up this pace of life and be a mom. And I watched one of my bosses. She had twins and she was actually fired on maternity leave. And that made me very fearful, very scared that the same thing could happen to me someday as well, too. And it was very draining. I assumed the problem was me. I believed also that entrepreneurship was risky, not for introverts like me. I'm an introvert. Anyone else an introvert here? And I realized, like, how could I become a business owner if that whole weight of my paycheck, my sales and marketing, all of that relied on me? If I was like overwhelmed in this corporate path, how could I handle the pressure of entrepreneurship? So it just felt trapped. But I also quietly dreamed of a little more freedom, a little more flexibility, being in charge of my schedule, being in charge of my calendar. So I started reading lots of books. I started listening to a lot of podcasts about entrepreneurship. I had a long commute to work, so I would listen to podcasts on my way. And I really knew that I needed a community of honest women who were showing me that this business life was possible with kids and showing me the truth. Like I wasn't behind. I hadn't wasted 8 years of my life climbing this corporate ladder. It wasn't too late and the past wasn't a waste. And I did join in a community and that helped me realize I was in the right place. Now, if you're feeling stuck, also considering maybe you have this quiet dream like I had of starting your own business and having more freedom and flexibility, maybe, being able to travel, making some income on the side of your day job. What usually happens is there's too many options, too many ideas. You fear choosing the wrong option. You fear not having enough time. That's a big one because your time becomes not your own. I feel like when you have kids, you have to really learn how to manage your time. And you don't know what to do first. There's lots of steps. There's lots of social media platforms. Like, how are you going to figure out what to do first when it comes to starting your business? Maybe you're overwhelmed by your marketing, scared to put yourself out there, don't feel like an expert, maybe feel like an imposter. And you know that you're going to feel guilty either way. Maybe you're scared to fail and you don't want to waste your money or your time. Now, a lot of times here we feel like, okay, we need more motivation, we need more time. But if you're here, you just need a very, very simple plan and you need to make a commitment that that's the life that you want. You want that life that has more of that time freedom and flexibility so that you can be able to spend more time with the people that matter. And so I want to show you a new truth. I want to show you a third option today if you haven't already thought about starting your own business. Even if you feel, like a failure, even if you are really struggling with time management, what I realize is no one actually really sat me down and said, here are all the jobs that actually work for moms. Here is entrepreneurship. Here is something that could work for you. And I had always thought entrepreneurship was really risky. It was something for other people. But when you actually realize that it's possible, that there's women doing that, it's kind of that beginning of freedom and flexibility. It's the beginning of realizing that your dream is possible. Maybe it's not clear, maybe you don't know exactly what you would sell, but I want to be here and tell you today that you can be a great mom and also love getting to do your own work as well too. And I'm going to show you a plan that works. So I promised you today I would go over my three most realistic income paths for moms. And so we're going to walk you through these paths. My goal is that by the end, you have clarity. You can pick a path that would work best for you. Now, I am not going to be telling you to go buy a franchise or go open a storefront or anything that's going to cost you lots and lots of money. So I am big on cash flowing your business. You know, you do not need to go into debt to start a business. And you're going to see in these three income paths, that's why I picked them because they are fairly easy to get started. And you can do them from anywhere. You know, even if you live in the middle of the nowhere, but you have internet because you're here today, you can start to make an income. And so the three paths I'm going to go through today. The first path is a service. So that's going to be the fastest way to develop some cash. The second path is coaching or consulting. Now, this is really meaningful work, so I'm excited to talk to you about that one. And then the third path that you can go on is a simple digital product. And these are really scalable, really easy to sell. All of these I have sold from the beginning. I'm going to kind of go over how I did it from the beginning, what I sold. And eventually, you know, long term, you can build these on top of each other. And if you've been in my world at all, you know, I have a program called Magic Income Streams. So I love having multiple streams of revenue coming in. So you're not just reliant on one of these, but that's the long-term path. So right now we're just going to pick one of these paths to help you get started. So your first path option would be a service. And like I said, this is the fastest way to bring in some income, bring in some cash. I always like to ask people, you know, when they're just thinking about starting their business, is like, what would you sell tomorrow? If you had to make $100 and you had to make $100, like what would you either do? What would you sell? And a lot of times it comes back to this service. Like, how can we serve people and generate some income? So, some examples, I love a virtual assistant idea. If you've ever thought of doing virtual assistant, if you're really good at like administrative work and supporting people and helping people, managing email and, you know, anything that they have online, a virtual assistant is something that you could do to support people and help people. A lot of people generate income through freelance writing. A lot of people generate income through online bookkeeping for people, helping them with their finances and their money. And another big one, and this is what I did to start too, is I helped people with their social media. So if you're someone who enjoys social media, maybe you are like Instagram or you like TikTok. I don't, but maybe you do. You can actually make a business around that and help people manage. If you could come to someone like me who doesn't like TikTok and say, "Hey, I'll do your TikTok for you," and people like me would pay you to do that. And so think through that. Think of ways that you can. We're going to talk about this later. Help people solve people's problems. Help one person every day. And this fits if you want to earn sooner and you're willing to build confidence while providing a direct service as well too. So like I said, virtual assistant, freelance writing, a Pinterest manager, operations support, social media support. Those are some first ideas, but you may have something you're really good at. Another service that I provided in the beginning is resume writing. I did that. That is a service. So people would send me their resumes and I would rewrite them for them. So that's an example of a service. Now, the second path, and let me know which path you're thinking of in the chat. I would love to know. Anyone thinking service? Anyone have any ideas for a service that they would provide to people? Let me know in the chat. I did social media support for career coaches in the beginning, and that was on the side of my day job. as well too. So I found career coaches because I liked the career world. I was, slowly building my career coaching business, but I knew I really liked social media as well too. So I reached out to career coaches on LinkedIn and I said, "Hey, like I noticed you're not updating your social media. Can I help you and support you with that?" And so people paid me, those coaches paid me to post on their social media platforms their content for them because they were busy coaching others, and so they wanted to kind of delegate that path. And that's something I've done that in the past too. I've hired social media managers, and it's something if you're in a very busy season as a business owner, it's something that you would definitely delegate. Marina is going to do a service virtual assisting. We had a virtual assistant almost 10 years. And then she went on and had a baby. And so but I would not be here without her. Like that is how important a virtual assistant is. So if you are someone who's really good with project management and operation support, like you, Marina, you can have a front row seat to a business and be able to support the CEO. Ashley's is a service marketing analytics setup and interpretation. So we see Ashley being an expert in that area. So something you're an expert in and other people need that support, right? Like I need help with marketing analytics. So she partners with people who have a problem and she knows how to solve with her expertise. I love it. Mary is a technical VA. That's awesome. We all need help with tech. So that's a great example. Now, so for those of you that are interested in doing this service, keep listening because in addition to the service, you can also be doing the other paths as well too. There's ideas for multiple income streams in here. Okay, so the second path is a coaching or consulting business. This is really meaningful work. So you guys know I started as a career coach as well too. So that's gonna be my path that I got started in. So there's so many ways. It does not just have to be. We hear a lot about like life coaching. Of course, if you're around me, you hear about career coaching. But there's so many different areas for coaching. On my YouTube channel yesterday, I just put up an interview with Vicky Bloom, who is part of our Corporate Rescue Plan membership. And she went through our Magic Income Streams boot camp that we had inside of our membership in Q4 of last year. And she built a coaching business around tech and video gaming. Now, this is not something I teach, obviously. I'm not teaching that expertise, but I love what she did is she took her expertise and said, "Hey, other people have a problem in this. I know how to help." And then she created a coaching business around that. She's getting testimonials, she's getting clients, she's got a book deal around that as well. So think of like, what are those things that you really enjoy doing? Some examples: career coaching, life coaching, health coaching, nutrition coaching. I homeschool my girls and I get support for homeschool coaching. So, and there's a lot of homeschoolers out there these days, and homeschooling moms, and parents. And so, maybe you like to work with kids, maybe you like to work with adults. Mindset coaching as well too. It could be sports coaching, leadership coaching, productivity coaching, business coaching. Those are all specializations that we have as career coaches in our certification program. The other idea would be social media coaching. So path one was the service. I do it for you. I do your social media for you. Path two is teaching other people how to do their social media, right? So one and two go together, which I love. Because people need help with both. Like sometimes I just want to learn how to do something, or in this case, I want to learn myself so that I can do that. A good example is Substack, right? Like I'm learning Substack. I'm taking a course on Substack so I can learn about Substack. Or I could hire someone to just do my Substack for me with path one, right? So two different ways. It's gonna be more expensive to do the service. To teach someone it's not going to cost me as much because I'm going to learn to actually be the one to do it. And if you're really good at tech, I know like we had Mary said she's a technical VA, then this could be coaching, consulting. You're not doing tech for them, but you're teaching people about tech, or like Ashley was like teaching people about marketing analytics. Melissa says, "I'm a therapist, but have been interested in coaching." I see a lot of therapists that come through and transition into coaching or add on coaching as well too. So that definitely can be done, Melissa. Ashley said, I'm also doing coaching consulting about helping others create a measurable marketing ecosystem. I'm a certified business coach at Classy Career Girl, certified. Yes, check the box. And that's my niche focus. Yeah, so two ways she could do it, right? And I know you have done it two ways. You've done it for them, and then you've also been that coach, that consulting. And that can look like, weekly calls with people. I love working with clients over like a 90-day program, just so we can kind of really get the before and after and get them the results that they want. So you can really align this with your mission. There's opportunities for really high impact transformation. Like I said, in those 90 days, there's opportunities to really do the before and after, right? Before they worked with you and after, and so you can really see the results that you have provided to them. So I always think when you're thinking of a service or coaching and consulting, what do I love doing that I could help others with? Something even like gardening or nature, or like I think of Latin because one of my daughters is taking like a Latin class. I don't know Latin at all, right? So I'm like, it's a great example of someone who's like, how can I need that support, or my daughter needs that support? Like, how can we find someone else to teach her? Or to like work with her as like as a either like taking a course or working with her as like a tutor or something too. So it could be mentoring, it could be teaching, it could be some sort of art or creative expression. I know we have bought art classes that we do online, and my girls do painting and they do crafts, and learning from other people who are a lot more artistic than I am. And so there's a lot of different, when you think through, like today, spend 15 minutes just like writing down all the things that you love to help others with. What do people ask you for? What could you do for hours and hours and not get bored? Like, there's business ideas there. And then the third path idea that I have for you is digital products. And this is the scaling, this is the freedom that can come into your business when you do start creating these digital products, because you don't have to be there physically to start making sales. And so my first sale came, I sold an online course. I called it the Get Unstuck Boot Camp. My logo was a turtle upside down that was stuck. I'm gonna have to dig that out of my files and find it. But I was in my cubicle, I was in my day job, and that's where I made my first sale. I looked at my phone, I had that PayPal order. Someone bought it from the UK. I was in San Diego. So you see the possibilities here. You see, like, especially if you still have a day job, digital products, you can even make sales while you're at your day job, while you're sleeping in the evening, and you can make sales to everyone around the world. So these are really good things to have in your business, even if you have a coaching business, a service business, you can also be creating these digital products as well too. So some examples of this would be a live workshop. I really like having video content, having live, like we're doing right now, right? Like something live where you can answer questions, you can interact with people. This is a way more fun call because you guys are here, you're interacting, you're sharing as we go. And then I can record it as well. So if people can't join live, they can always watch the recording as well. And then the other thing that you could sell is you could sell templates and guides. So when I was doing a lot of resume reviews in the early days, that was my service. I was doing all three of these paths, right? So path one, I was doing resume. I was creating resumes for people. So that was the done for you. I was also doing career coaching and coaching people on their resumes. So that would be like, hey, coaching them for an hour, but they would be the one to actually update their resume. And then the third part, I would create courses around creating writing a resume. So I had a resume makeover bootcamp that I sold, which would be like a workshop. And then I also sold my resume templates. And I don't do that anymore. But because with ChatGPT, it's a different world than when I started. But think of ways that you could sell templates and guides and things and tools, like things that can make people's lives easier, as well as mini courses. And then a membership is also a really good idea. That is where you can start to create recurring revenue every single month. Maybe you give a new template of the month, or a new guide every single month, a new workshop every single month, a Q&A every single month. Like, how can you do something every single month where your audience is like, I want this ongoing. I don't want to leave. I continue to want your support every single month. And so digital products are great. If you want flexibility and that repeatable income, this is going to be starting small. So we're going to start, the price points on a digital product can be anywhere from like $27 to maybe $97, or maybe on the high side, $197 to $497. But this isn't going to be the magical way you're going to be able to quit your day job, and go full time. We kind of need to have multiple revenue streams kind of coming in if you do want to quit your day job as well too. Now, let's talk about the one problem rule. You don't need a huge business idea. You just need one problem that you can solve. You can actually, if you have your one problem, you could create all these paths around it. You could create a digital product around your one problem. You could create a coaching and consulting business around your one problem. And then you can also create a service around your one problem as well and like do it for them as well. So, one problem is all you need for a very successful business. So I want you to think through who you want to help. Who is this person? What are they struggling with? What is keeping them at night? What is the problem that this person has? What are those problems and challenges that they have that they're like afraid to tell anyone else about? It's just keeping them up at night. They're just really struggling with it. And where are you going to take that? Like after you help them with this problem, maybe you work with them for 90 days. What is that result going to be? Because we're not selling like all the things we could sell. We're not going to sell a course. We're not going to sell a 1 hour coaching session. We're not going to sell a template. We're selling the result. This is really, really important in your offer. You want to make sure you're selling the result that they're going to get. So your simple I help statement, we're going to simplify this so you can tell people what you do. This is going to go on your bio and all of your social media platforms. This is going to be something, if you do a video, you would say, hey, I'm Anna and I help. Say your help statement, right? If you're at a networking event, this is your help statement. So you really want to have this down and focusing on that result. So like the answers that we just answered here, that's going to help us create your statement. Okay, I want to see. I bet Ashley, you already have yours figured out. So you're going to say who it is. We're going to be specific so people know if it's them, they're going to be like, oh, that's me, or they're going to know someone who needs your help. So for example, I've always worked with women. That's kind of been my market since the early days, but I had a lot of referrals from the men who were in my business school, I was working on group projects, getting my MBA, and a lot of the men in my groups referred all their wives to me. That was like my early clients because they knew what I did, they knew who I helped. I still told them what I was doing, even though they weren't my target market. I wasn't going to help them, but their wives needed help. Their wives needed help with their careers. And so because they knew who I was targeting, they could start referring me people. They knew the result that I was getting them. They trusted me. I had built that trust and relationship with them. And then they knew what the result was and they knew why it mattered as well too. They wanted happy wives and so they knew the importance of that as well. Okay, Ashley, I put you on the spot. She says, I help coaches and service providers know what's working in their marketing so they can do more of what's working while saving time, money, and energy for what matters to them. I love that. Yeah, we want to save time. That's her big thing is, we want to help people with their marketing so that they can save time and make more time for what matters most. So your first offer, pick a path. You can always add in more paths later, one on top of each other. But in the beginning, we want to just have that first very simple path, whether that's one-on-one coaching or a service that you provide, a workshop that you do, a digital guide or template. Maybe it's a small group program that you're going to launch or an online course that you're going to deliver. Now, if you came in a little bit late, I gave out a workbook. So I'm going to copy the right link in the chat as well too. Because in my trainings, yes, I give trainings, and hopefully the recording will work and you'll be able to watch this again. But I also want you to have a workbook, something that you can make a copy of and kind of edit as you go, or later on kind of come back to. So if you come to any of my trainings, usually there's some sort of little Google Doc to go with it. If you go to File and then you go to Make a Copy, That way you can make a copy to your own drive and you can save it as your name. And then that way you can type directly into it. Okay. So on this, you're going to see a lot of the things we've spent 30 minutes together already. You guys have made progress, just so you know. This is exciting. So you're going to be able to kind of go through this. You're going to be able to see what those most realistic income paths are and also kind of be able to make some notes as you go. Pick one of these, write in, you can edit your own document as well too. But, go in here, edit with what you've learned, the type of coaching or consulting you want to do. Maybe it's a service. Maybe you've had some ideas as we've gone through here. Or maybe you now know, which of these digital products you're going to launch with as well, too. And I always ask, like, thinking through what are you naturally good at? I had friends who were always asking me for resume advice and career advice. So it started to become clear, like, oh, maybe this is something I'm naturally good at. What do people already ask me for help with? What kind of work gives me energy, not dread? So in the beginning, I liked doing social media. And so for me, I thought, helping other people with their social media, doing it for them. Like in those early days, I was doing social media for these career coaches. So I tried it out. If you don't know, try it out. Put that offer out there. It may not be perfect. I actually learned I don't like doing it for other people. There was something I really enjoyed about doing social media for myself. So I love to take like courses so I can learn, but I am not like a delegate my social media person like some people are. It's totally fine to do that. But I realized like that gave me energy to do my own social media. And I didn't have energy when I was doing other people's social medias. But you learn from doing. You learn who your market is, you learn what you love doing. And so always just, get out there, start practicing. In our certification program, we have our coaches do 10 hours of practice coaching. And it is amazing how far they come in just those 10 coaching sessions. Like the first one's scary. The first one, they don't know what they're doing. The first one they prep so much for and they're worried about. And then by the 10th one, they are confident. They know that they help people. They have testimonials. They have an outline. They just know what to do. And then from there, they're just ready, off and running to start selling as well too. So never hesitate to do some practice coaching and start to get those testimonials as well. And then what can I realistically do in 50 to 60 minutes a day? We're moms here. We don't have a ton of time. And so we also can't, like, this is why I'm not going to tell you to go buy a franchise or go open a physical storefront. All these options today, these 3 different paths are things that you can do on the side of a day job, on the side of motherhood, on the side of both, on the side of being very busy in just 15 minutes a day. So choose your path and choose the problem that you want to solve and the result that you want to help people get to. Spend some time today thinking through your I help statement so you know who you help, the result that you get them to, and really why it matters. And this is going to go into your mission. This is going to go into your vision. This is going to be your why. This is going to be the thing that people need and help you get out there and past your own fears because you're solving problems as an entrepreneur. Okay. So your 24-hour plan, so I said that you would have some steps ready for when you leave here today. So what I want you to do is I want you in the next 24 hours to write your I help statement, share it with someone, reach out to someone. You can pick one of these. You don't need to do all these, by the way. Just choose one tiny step. You could reach out to one person that you can help. Post a simple question on Facebook. I've done this where I've said on Facebook, I'm thinking of creating an annual, a workshop that goes over how I plan for the year. Would you be interested? And then people are like, yes, 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 yes. And that's how I know, oh, hey, this is a workshop I do. Same with this, like over and over again, I work with moms over and over again. There's so much I want to tell moms, and so when I say, hey, are you interested in a workshop about how moms can make money at home? Yes, 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 yes. Then that's my sign. Okay, I need to do this. Brainstorm 10 problems I can solve. Block out 30 minutes on your calendar this week to work on, or next week to work on this, and then choose your path, commit to it for 30 days and learn from it. Maybe do some practice as well too, and start to put that offer out there. So just choose one of those. What is your next step? Write it in and write down when you're going to do it. Now, this is the beginning. So today's the beginning. I do have a whole framework that I'm going to be going through over the next week, 6 weeks in our 6 week Moms Making Money sprint. And what I'm going to go over the next 6 weeks, and I think I have a slide for this. So let me go back to this slide. Okay, the pretty slide. There's 6 parts. So we're going to do this in 6 weeks. And the first part is really about awakening your purpose, your strengths, your calling, why are you here, and who you help. And so that's really the foundation. That's really the next step after today, after you've kind of started to realize what is possible for you. The second part, and by the way, this spells anchor, and the second part is naming your season. So this is why this is specific to moms right now. And I haven't done trainings that are specific to moms like I have over the next 6 weeks, but I am going to go deep over the next 6 weeks specifically for moms because we have seasons. We have seasons. And so not all seasons can be the same. And so I'm going to help you name your season, figure out your capacity, figure out your first offer. And then we're going to clarify your marketing plan because marketing for moms is different than marketing for everyone else. I feel like we need to do marketing quickly, strategically, and we need to have some anchors as well in our days so that it actually gets done and we're not trying to post on social media at 11:30 at night, which I have made. I am not perfect. I have done that and it's not the best route, I will say. And so the H, we're also going to honor your gifts and honor, what happens at home. I'm going to share some rhythms that support your work at home. And then we're going to talk about sales and systems as well during that week. And then we're going to help you own your mission. And by doing that, we're going to create a 90-day income plan. And so you can have consistent monthly revenue. And then we're going to end with renewing, how to restart, how to pivot, because sometimes we need to do that and really create a sustainable path for the long haul as well, too. Because that's what I want this to be. This is not something, it's not like, I interviewed, I think it was Erin Tracy. She's on my YouTube channel as well, talking about the coach certification program, and she's like, this is not a make $1 million in 3 weeks program, right? Like, and this is not. I'm gonna just tell you that. Like, there is, especially in your season, whatever that is, there's pausing, there's restarting, there's pivoting. I know a lot about this one as well too, so I'm excited to dive into this section of the sprint. And so to join the sprint, we're going to do 6 live sessions. There's going to be replays. There's going to be weekly workbooks and milestones. We also have a Slack community. You'll also get our full corporate rescue plan membership and access to over $10,000 of my trainings and success pass. And I will put this link in the chat as well too, so you guys can check it out with me. And I'll go over so that link should work if you are already a corporate rescue plan member, because let me know, put CRP if you're already a member. You do not need to buy this. You are already included. Yes, actually, you guys will already be in our 6-week sprint. So please don't buy this if you are already a member. But for new people who are not already members, this is for you if you want to go through our 6-week sprint with me, and then also get our corporate rescue plan membership. And you can do that for $19 today. And this is really for you if you want support, structure, and accountability. This is where we do it together. This isn't a someday program. This is start now in your real life, in your current season sprint. And this 6 weeks is designed for motherhood, limited time, real responsibilities. And we're kicking this off today. So if you join while you're here with us today, you're going to get our kickoff, which is at 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's where inside of CRP, that's our upcoming CRP call, we're going to kick off your finances and help you create a financial plan. Because in order to go from employee to entrepreneur, there's some things that aren't often talked about, especially when you're supporting your family. And I know that for me, my business has always, that's a big why for me is to support my family. I want to be responsible. I don't want to put my family in jeopardy whatsoever. And so there's definitely some financial considerations. There's some ways to know when it's time to quit your day job, what you can do on the side. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of that stuff, kind of the behind the scenes later today as well too. So that is why you want to get in on this call so that you can either join us live at 1 p.m. Eastern or you can get the recording of our financial planning kickoff for the sprint. Okay, so I posted that link. Let me know if you're going to be joining us in our 6-week sprint. The other thing that you get, so all of our CRP members also get paid access to my Substack as well too. So big announcement. I am, is it called Substacking? I am writing on Substack. And I am writing behind the scenes of the book process. So if you go on to Substack, if you're a CRP member, you can just message me and we will give you you will get paid access to our Substack. Because what I'm doing in there is I'm posting all the behind the book content, and this is the paid stuff. So this isn't for our free readers, but I want all of you guys to see behind the scenes what happens when it comes to writing a book. Because I know some of you guys are interested in writing the book, what the book's going to be about. So I already have lots of posts already because I've already had lots of meetings with my agent. I have a whole article on how I got an agent because that's a whole story in and of itself, how this book is coming about. The one sheet that I used to get an agent, the outline, and I'm sure there'll be another post after I have a meeting later with my agent, so there'll be another post in there as well too. So yeah, if you're ever interested in writing a book, you'll definitely want to see kind of like the behind the scenes of creating this book, which is going to be like another at least a year where it will actually be out there as well. Okay, so like I said, replays are included. It's designed for real life motherhood, small time blocks. I've got you. I understand, what it's like to do this with limited time. And you do not need a big following because we focus on really tiny marketing actions that lead to real clients. So I'm not going to waste your time. You can kind of turn off the noise of all the other things and you're going to have your plan. So when you do have your 15 minutes, maybe you have your 10, 15 minutes of marketing time, you're going to know exactly what to do and it's going to help you make progress as well. You don't have to know what your business idea is. I hope that you made some progress today as far as like thinking of what's possible and things that you could do with the knowledge that you and expertise you already have. But in week 1, that's where we're going to help you get your idea as well. So you do not need to have anything figured out as well. Eva just joined. Yay. So excited for you to join us, Eva. This will be perfect for you. I'm excited for you to meet everyone too. Okay, so what's going to happen? So we're going to talk, so in an hour at 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do our financial planning kickoff. And if you can't join that live, you can get the recording. And then on next Friday, so our calls for the sprint are going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern over the next 6 weeks. So the first week is finding the work you were born to do without abandoning your kids. That's going to be really about your time blocks, figuring out your calling, what that problem is, going deeper basically of what we talked about today. And then we're going to turn your calling into that one simple paid offer. And we're going to go into more detail about the income paths for moms. So we're going to go into detail about like what you should price, how to offer it, how to sell it as well too, whether you do coaching, service, workshop, digital product, all the things I wish I knew before I started. I'm going to share with you guys and how to do it on top of motherhood as well too, or your day job. And then week 3 is going to be about getting clients without being online all day. We are busy. We are not online. I homeschool my girls in the mornings, and so I am not online all day. I am very strategic with my time and my clients and my programs and everything I do. Every 15 minutes matters, I feel like. So we're not going to tell you how to spend hours online. We're going to help you do those tiny marketing actions and create a really micro marketing plan for moms. Sales. So over and over again, I hear sales is the hard part. Like, how do I sell? So we're going to talk about non-sleazy sales systems because we've all been on those calls and we feel like that's sleazy and we don't want that. So we're going to talk about, how to do sales that feels natural, relational, fun as well too. I actually love sales calls. I'm going to teach you why, what I do. And then this is also where we're going to get into systems, home systems, money systems, motherhood systems, family rhythms. Kind of going to go behind the scenes and share with you how to really create some of those home rhythms that I have in my work and personal life and homeschool life and just family time that that supports my work and work systems that supports my family. And then week 5, that's going to be how to make money every month. So we're going to go through that income plan because, like I said, we want to be responsible with our finances, with our money, and we also want to cash flow as well too. We're not going to go into debt. We're not going to, put a bunch of money out there. We're going to talk about a 90-day runway, how to create those revenue blocks, revenue planning in your finances. And then we're going to end this on March 27th. And that's going to be what to do when life blows up, like how to pause without quitting. So we're all going to be interrupted at some point. There's going to be emergencies. There's going to be fatigue and shifts and things that are unplanned. But we don't want to quit. And so we're going to talk about that, how to prepare for those real life things that happen, and then prepare for your 1 year freedom plan. So you can really have that sustainable plan that keeps you going even after the sprint ends. Now, the reason I'm doing this and it's going to be done by March 27th is because that is the date that my proposal is going to be done. On March 31st is our goal to submit to have the proposal done and to start to be submitting it to publishers. And so me teaching this to you guys, you're going to be helping me as well too. You guys have already helped me a lot get more clarity in this book and what this book should be and what should be in the book. And so this is your behind the scenes of like me kind of teaching the book and learning as I go and then putting it in the book and the outline and the proposal and giving you guys all the behind the scenes of the process as well too. So that is what's happening. Like I said, here's the link. I will put this in the chat again. And we will also, we'll send an email as well too. So you'll have that. Just make sure that you do join us today so that you do get that kickoff call so we can help you with your finances. I'm going to go over what I did before I quit, like financially, because I do feel I spent some time making sure that when I quit, it was a responsible decision as well too. So we're going to go over the resignation plan and kind of some things to make sure that you have in place before you quit and some things to work towards as well too. I know you guys aren't probably ready to quit your day jobs today or anything like that, but I want to help you get to that point that you are. Now, does anyone have any questions? I'm going to take a sip of water. As you can see, I'm still kind of recovering from the cold. The never-ending cough is just never ending, but Okay. So it sounds like you guys are all set, all ready to go. If you have any questions at all, you can always email me at support@classycrugal.com. That's actually our support email. You can always hit reply as well if you have any questions as far as like your order going through or access to the membership or anything like that. Like I said, CRP, if you are already a member in CRP, you do get access to the 6-week sprint and as well as access to all the other resources and training that is provided to you as well too. I am so excited you guys were here with me today. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you have seen how possible it is, how you can do this in very limited amounts of time. I'm super excited to be able to support you and help you over the next 6 weeks, do this together, make this happen, start to generate that income, that cash flow as you go over the next 6 weeks as well too. Eva says, this is what I need. Thank you. You are so welcome. I do. I think 6 weeks is kind of like that perfect amount of time to get started, to put yourself out there, to really figure out what your offer is going to be and to really, get clarity as far as like the direction, to create the plan. And I know for me too, like this is just kind of a good time to reevaluate your goals. as well now that we're in February. So I always look back at my goals on January 1 and can see, okay, maybe there's some changes that need to be made, or maybe, there's another different direction or something that I can add as well too. And so now's a really good time to get behind those goals, make the progress that you want over the next 6 weeks. So all through February, through March. By the end of the March, you're going to have that plan. You're going to know what you're going to do. You're going to be done with the sprint. You hopefully maybe have already gotten a client, already have that revenue and that income being generated as well. So then you can really have that plan of action for the rest of the year before summer gets here. Because as you know, moms during summer, it's a whole different thing, right? It is like hard to focus in the summer sometime. Nice to see you too, Brianna. So good to see you guys. Okay, thank you everyone for joining me. I will see you guys inside the sprint, inside a corporate rescue plan. Email me if you have any questions, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.